It's good to have all of you tune in with us tonight. We had good feedback from our last show or our little test run. We just want to say we appreciate everybody tuning in and giving us that feedback. Okay. Now on to the introductions one more time in case you missed that. My name is Jamar Walker. Here I go by Professor Mop. That's going to be one of my little tags. It actually came from my gamer tag. Okay. So you may hear him call me Mop, Professor Mop, whatever it may be. Okay. But for the sake of the podcast, I'm Professor Mop. Moving on to my guy Perry Williams. Perry, you want to tell them about you and who you want, what your introduction is and your tag.
Nothing really know about me. You're gonna hear them call me Perry. You're gonna hear them call me Dub, or whatever. It's me. If you don't recognize the name, it's me. So, that's all I gotta say.
And it's your boy Jay Bird. Most of y'all know me. I've been around here a long time, doing a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Making a mess of some things, making good of some other things.
Yeah. So, and like I said, man, it's always great to be able to come together with brothers similar minds. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be no good if all of us thought the same thing and saw everything the same way. So we bounce ideas off of each other and we learn from each other. And we plant seeds with each other. Speaking of planting seeds, that's actually the title of tonight's show is going to be Seeds. Okay. But before we get into that, we just have a little random conversation, give you opportunity to hear kind of where our mind is. I was just discussing with my fellas. You see my man Dub here. Got on that Louisville Cardinal hat. We want to send a shout out to our boy Coach Brown, McKellen and Brown. To us, that's Bebo, the defensive coordinator at Louisville. They've been under a little fire up there. And yesterday they turned it on, man, against Wake Forest. They had 6 turnovers in the third quarter. Came away with a big win against the number 10 team in the nation. Yeah, defense cut up. Yeah, they cut up yesterday. So we just wanted to give a shout out to him. And we were also talking about what went on down in Jackson, Mississippi yesterday. With College Game Day and with Jackson State University, Deion Sanders. Big shout out to him and the Tigers and all the alum from Jackson State and HBCU all around, you know what I mean? And to have College Game Day there and to be able to shine a spotlight on the culture, we thought was a really big thing, So, like I said, I want to give a shout out to Deion Sanders, Jackson State, just all HBCU people, man. That's a wonderful thing. Growing up, I would see HBCUs, didn't know a whole lot about them. They weren't very visible where we at in Hill Country, Northeast Mississippi, but to understand, what they've meant to us and our people and our culture and throughout history, in the past, and even today, and the relevancy that they have today was really big, and that was something beautiful to see on yesterday. You fellas got any thoughts about that?
Y'all know I ain't into sports like that, man. If ain't nobody getting punched, I ain't in it. You know what I'm saying?
You talking about people getting punched, man? What about the Spider last night, man?
Man, I didn't get to watch that.
Boy, man.
I didn't get to watch that either, man. There's a lot of controversy.
He got the bag.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy around there. But man, either way, whether he, took a dive or whatever, man, that dude out there getting money. He deserves it. He deserves it.
Man, I felt like I was kind of watching the WWE. I didn't watch the actual match, but I saw the highlights from it and what happened, and right. It looked like the same shot from all of the boxing matches with the Power Boys, They give you a good show, somebody take a dive, and they run off with the bag. So I can't necessarily be mad at them. They're getting their money.
They figured out a way to get it done, man.
Absolutely. What I wish that they would do was the Power Boys that come out, and they're not fighting actual boxers that train to box.
Right.
And I'm not knocking them because I hear that they actually train to box. They're real trainers.
They're athletes.
Yeah. But so my thing is, you either fight somebody that's a trained boxer in boxing, or meet these other great professionals, these MMA fighters and other people. Meet them on their turf. Get in the octagon with them. They probably don't really want to do that. No. Y'all know y'all professionals. Y'all know what time it is.
They would have a short career.
Right.
Yeah, man, but it'll be more believable, a little more respectful. You know what I mean?
But ain't no money in that, though.
No.
I mean, I feel you. But you look at the Power Boys, man, with their promotion. You know what I mean? Boxing, they said, was dying as well. They said it was a dying sport. But they bring people out to check it out.
So put butts in the seats.
Big props to those guys, man.
Put butts in the seats, man. He's still on Dana White. He's still on Dana, trying to get him to pay the fighters, That's his whole angle. That's what he's trying to do.
He paying the fighters.
Right.
Yeah, he's paying them.
He paying them.
But at the same time, I don't know if like I said, you two both black belts in jiu-jitsu, and I don't think that it would be respectable to make to disrespect y'all's sport and y'all's craft and what y'all put into it for a money grab, to bring them into y'all's arena, an art that you respected and that you come to master and you continue to work at, to bring kind of that WWE wrestling element into it, man, just to make a couple bucks. I don't know if that would be a good thing, man. So, but yeah, you can speak on. I mean, y'all did the work. Y'all got the black belt.
That's something I would never do. But man, this day and time, man, people trying to get money and they'll get it any way they can. You know what I'm saying? Like, that whole honor amongst athletes and fighters and stuff, man, it's about there,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
If you can get a bag, man, you're gonna get that bag. However you can get it. And
Yeah.
I see that happening now, man. They don't care no more.
Yeah,
They just trying to get paid.
That's sad, man. That's sad in a way.
It is, you know, for those of us who started long ago, man. When you know, go out there and die on your shield. You wasn't taking no dive. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care how much money.
Yeah.
You know, pride was everything. You know,
Right, man.
pride was everything. You wasn't gonna go out there and take no dive for no money. But like, it's just changing today, man. People, you know.
People see it differently, man, and that dollar bill. You look at gas prices and stuff, man. I ain't gonna say I wouldn't participate in the match with y'all. If I thought people paid for it, I come out there and let y'all tie me into a pretzel, man. Somebody give me a bag, man, but I don't think they're gonna give me one. It's all good, man. It's all good, man.
But yeah, it's funny, you know, talking about that because you know how people used to always say, "Man, I get in the ring with Mike Tyson
Man, whatever.
for this amount of money."
Sure.
That amount. You are not conditioned to take a shot by that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
There's a whole lot of people that think they would do stuff like that to get money, but man, everybody ain't built for it.
Right,
that
man.
dude would break your neck.
Man, at some point, man, you gotta love yourself, man. You don't do that, man. Mike Tyson.
Money ain't everything.
Money ain't everything.
I promise you it's not.
I'm trying to grow old.
Yeah, man. You get in the ring with Mike
Without
Tyson.
stuttering.
Right.
Hey,
Right.
I mean, you might get a bag. You get in the ring with Mike Tyson. You gonna have to spend all your money on Amazon because that's all you can move with. Man, come on.
Get a
I'm
bag
good,
and a
man.
neck brace.
right,
Right.
Back brace if you lucky.
right.
No, I'm good, man. I still buy that 87 gas and
There you go.
just do without the money. You know what I'm saying? I'm not dealing with Mike, man. It'll be all good. Yeah. But all right, man. Just like I said, just a little cutting off, having a little fun. But as I mentioned before, you know, this episode is going to be called Seeds, okay? And what we're talking about when we talk about seeds, we talk about you know, what was it that motivated us or inspired us to take certain routes in life and do certain things in life? Who were the individuals who had influence on us and things of that sort? You know, what did we see? What was it that made us want to become who we are and who we still aspire to be? You know, and so we're going to talk a little bit about those influences and give you a little insight as to, you know, how we even ended up here doing a podcast for you all to see, okay? And so with nothing else to say about that, we're going to let Jay Bird, I'm going to let you take up with it first.
Well, man, just me, you know, thinking back on who was the biggest influence on me as a kid, you know, starting out, man, when I was 10 years old, I started taking Taekwondo karate from Reverend James Dye.
Oh, yeah.
And man, this guy, even back then, like he was a martial arts instructor.
Mhm.
He was a preacher. He sold insurance, among many other things. And,
Yeah.
you know, like as a kid, you see like most of the time your parents, they might work one particular job or another. You know, they have one thing. And I saw him doing so many things and doing them well. And that kind of inspired me. Like, I don't have to drive in one lane. I can do multiple things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I saw that from him early on. And, man, as I started, you know, growing up and stuff, I saw that I had interest in multiple things. And, I didn't want to put all the eggs in one basket, you know, because I had a lot of interest. And so I dove into this and dove into that. And, man, I have played around with everything. I'll wake up some days with just an idea, and I'll cut out running with it. You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like as you know, I have also I preached for a number of years. Worked at the fire department. Tattoo artist.
Man, I done it all, man.
You know what I mean?
He's done it all.
And that's what he's the guy that inspired me. That showed me like, man, you can do it. You know, you can do whatever you put your mind to. You don't have to stay in one lane. You can do multiple things.
Yeah.
So
That's interesting to hear, man. You talk about being in multiple lanes, man. Because I kind of took, you know, a little bit of a different lane as far as, you know, following the more of the traditional path, you know, what you're told to do, you know. But like you said, to be able to see you take on all these different challenges, man, you know, all these different ventures, man. I'm talking, this man worked everywhere. Like, you can't go anywhere without seeing Jay Bird. I didn't think he was ever off, man. I like, this man got a whole nother family somewhere here that we don't know. He doing something, man. That man do not.
He like to light up under the stove, always on.
Yeah,
always on.
I'm like, what is he doing? I mean, I'm like, he live with his wife and his kids. He ain't got no child support. What's this man doing? Why he working so hard, you know? But yeah, but like you said, when you got a lot of gifts and talents, man, I guess you want to cash in. Not necessarily cash in, but what you want to do is you want to show gratitude for them by using them, you know. And this one man, hey, he ain't gonna leave no rock unturned. I'm gonna tell you that. If he has an ability to do it, he's gonna try. He's gonna go out there on that limb and all. But hey, that's what, like I said last show. If you don't use it, you lose it. And you willing to lose it, man, that's real admirable, man. I think that people can learn a lot from that. Yeah. So, that being said, we're gonna move on to my man Dub. Dub, tell us about you, man. Tell us about the seeds, man.
All right. Okay, so planting seeds. Of course, I'm not gonna talk about
Y'all be talking.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry. I apologize.
don't interrupt. Don't
Yeah,
interrupt.
yeah.
I'm not gonna talk about my life because mom and dad, they planted the seeds and watching my dad do stuff and just looking up to him, and of course my mom giving me great advice along the way, yada yada yada. But as far as planting seeds, well, first of all, when I talk, it's either I'm gonna talk a little or a lot. It's nowhere in between. So I'm gonna get a little long with it. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So as far as planting seeds, about me, athletically, right? Marty, planted seeds as far as me running, like just running 5Ks, 10Ks. I was training and shooting basketball, but I just never was a runner. I didn't start running till probably about 2012 or 13, because of Marty. And running, is just something that I've grown to hate and love-hate relationship. Keeps me in shape. Hate to do it, but I love it when I'm done doing it, because I'm like, man, just feel accomplished, because you're doing something that's so easy that anybody can do, but most people don't do it. And my motto, if it's easy, I don't want it.
Right.
I like hard. And then the next thing, Jonathan, planting seeds. All right, I got a whole bunch of tattoos. All my tattoos are done by this man right here. He stayed on me for a whole year about training jiu-jitsu. Way back in 2005, a whole year. Come train with me. I'm like, man, no, come train with me. I was like, okay, man, just so he'll stop asking me. Went in 2006. I never stopped training. So he planted the seed in me as far as getting out of my comfort zone and trying something that, as far as martial arts, I was always interested in, but never did. I watched the Kung Fu movies, bought the UFC tapes. Yes, the tapes. Bro. The VHS tapes from the Young Gallery.
VHS, baby.
So
You watching them on MySpace.
Yeah.
But I was doing all that too, and then, boom, planted the seed about, just training and being able to defend myself, and lo and behold, still doing it. And both these gentlemen right here have had just, both of them were in my wedding too, by the way.
Right.
So anyway, but both of these two gentlemen have just been really important to me in my life, just from, all positivity, no negativity, just helping me out, whether it's getting a beating or, saying, hey, let's run, or let's go ride bikes, or anything. So, but.
Man, crazy. And I interrupt you.
No, I'm good.
Interrupting him, but you planting the seed in him to run.
Yeah, and he doing the marathon.
And then, dude, and then I got inspired. I got inspired.
Oh, you said at work? Oh, you said at work?
I got inspired because of him, man.
Yeah.
Like, I was working the Coke race one year.
Yeah.
And he was running it, and Miss Tanya was running it. She's another student of ours.
Yeah.
And we had a few other people, I think, that was connected to us
Mm-hmm.
that was running it. I was working it. And, man, I was out there, and I saw them come across that finish line, man.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, I could do that, man. They look like they're having fun. And then I saw old ladies and kids.
Yeah.
I saw people come across that finish line. I was like, man, I call myself an athlete. You know what I mean? Like, why I'm sitting over here while they running? You know what I mean? Like, that's what inspired me. I was like, man, if they can do it, I can do it. And so, man, I started training with them. He planted that seed in me. And like him, I wasn't a runner, man. I didn't, running was the last thing. That's why I learned martial arts, because I couldn't run.
Yeah.
So if you start to fight with me, we got to get down because I can't run.
Yeah.
That's why I learned how to fight. So at the time, I at most I probably run 3 miles.
Yeah.
And then I started training with them to do that Coke race, 5K. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, man, we got the week just doing a little more, climbing. Then I started running with them on like 1 or 2 days a week.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And man, we ran 10 miles one time. That is like the top.
Yeah.
It's the top mileage I've ever run, man. And I'm still like, that's a big accomplishment for me, because I started out like 2-3 miles most ever. And then training with these cats, man, ended up, running 10 miles.
Yeah, that's wild. That's the great thing about seeds, man. You may plant one before you know it, and whatever crop that you planted, whatever it can take over.
Yeah.
You see all kind of things blossom and grow out of just one seed, you know. And I never even thought about that, y'all, stuff. Because now you look at them, you know, they walk around here with what, about 7, 8 percent body fat or whatnot. Not me. I'm not no 7, 8%. And y'all doing the running. Dub may go run 20 miles or something, literally 20 miles. Then Jay Bird may take off one day and run 7, 8 miles, man. Look, if I got 3 in me, you know, I'm going to take one day to recover. The next day I'm going to stretch, and then I might try it again. The next day I might go for 3 or 4. You know what I mean? Because back then, you know, pre-COVID, everything is wrong. Everything going on with me now, I gained the weight and stuff because of COVID. It's all COVID fault. I mean, I know, I know I got to quit using that excuse.
No, that's not.
I think I got at least one more year. I think I got at least one more year I can blame COVID.
Just like that.
I'm like the athlete. I got one more year.
Just
I
like
can
the
blame
athletes
COVID.
get a COVID year, you get a COVID year.
Yeah, before I can get back right.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
got you.
everything it's COVID fault, man. I don't care what y'all did on COVID. I'm talking about me right now. That's why it was COVID's fault. But yeah, as far as running the Coke race, I never actually done the Coke racing car. Even though I've done Martin Luther King 10K over in Atlanta. I've run at St. Jude a couple of times. You know, a 10K in St. Jude, a couple of 5Ks at St. Jude. You know, I hadn't done the Coke race. You know, and that's something now. That's a goal that I can set for myself because y'all have done that. I do want to come back and do the Coke race. After I get over the COVID effects, you know, I think I'm trying to start training in December. You know what I mean? See if I can get back on track. So, but yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Them good stories, man.
Hey, after feeling so accomplished, man, doing them 10 miles,
yeah,
I was like, dang, man, we sprinted the hills and all of that.
Yeah.
This cat take out next day or two, run 13 in the time
see
that
what
we
I'm
ran them
talking
10.
See?
Bruh. Don't even make sense.
But see,
man.
Doug been like that. I mean, even in high school, you know, we running sprints in the gym, you know, and he out front in all of them, you know, first.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, this little dude don't slow down because the problem was Coach Robbins was looking at him. And he like, well, Perry's still going. They still got a lot in the tank. No, all of us not as injured. We weren't born in Wakanda. Perry was born in Wakanda.
You just
Man.
do the alien, man.
Like, I'm out, man. I'm stopping, tying my shoes. I got to get some kind of break. This man's still out front running the sprints full speed. And he looking at Perry trying to wear him out. He killing us by trying to get Perry. Kind of like when I came and trained jiu-jitsu with y'all. The first time I came, Perry was like, man, just come do the workout, man. Just come do the workout. Do the warm-up. Do the warm-up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I had the warm-up. That's like 10, 15 minutes. I can do that. Nobody told me the warm-up was 45 to 50 minutes. The warm-up. And so as we doing the warm-ups, I come on one day, you get some guys, I think they were firemen, police. Anyway, it was some of the tough dudes, you know, real manly men.
Yeah.
And they would come in and show you, we can do this jiu-jitsu. It ain't that much. You know, and I'm thinking, well, you know, I respect the art, so I know I'm not where they are. So I'm going to humble myself.
Right.
But one of these guys wants to prove that he was the baddest man to ever walk. And so as we're doing the warm-up, I'm thinking, okay, I've been warm about 15 minutes now, so we about to finish. And I noticed one of these guys that thought he was tough was trying to hang strong. And if you don't know Jay Bird, he get real competitive, man. And I started looking at this dude like, I'm going to break him. I'm going to break him because he think he got. And in the process of trying to break this guy, the guy ended up throwing up, man, and tapping out. That was the guy who was tapping out. He ended up throwing up and tapping out. But he ain't the only one that tapped out. Because I left the warm-up, man. I got in my truck. I'm headed home. Dude, I went to the gas station. I drank my Gatorade at the cooler. I didn't even make it to the counter. I drank it at the cooler because I thought I was going to tap out. And ever since then, I'm gonna come back, y'all. I'm gonna be back. I just ain't made it yet. Kind of like my tattoo. That's probably about 7, 8 years ago. So,
Yeah.
but that's what happens when you ultra
You still got
competitive.
time, you
Yeah,
got
I'm gonna
time.
give me one. So I'm gonna get my first tattoo, man. But yeah, that's some pretty good stuff as far as planting seeds, man. Because the seed that you take something from other people and you own it yourself, man, and you may even take it to a height that they never took it to, and that's a beautiful thing, man. That you were able to do that. All right, as far as my story about planting seeds, I'm kind of like Dub. I get a little long-winded when I talk, because there's a lot of facets to my stories when I tell them, okay? But mine goes all the way back to my upbringing. And a lot of times, seeds are being planted that you don't even realize are being planted, you know, while they're going on, you know? So in my house, I would say when I looked at a lot of my peers, I say I was able to benefit from what we call black privilege. If you ever read Charlemagne the God's book, Black Privilege, okay? Because when I say black privilege, a lot of my peers didn't have a lot of the resources and the blessings that I had coming up. You know, I come from a 2-parent home. You know, my parents college educated. You know, I had a brother college educated. You know, who modeled all the right things to do. And you know, and when you're the younger sibling, and all your friends have all this freedom, they can do what they want to when you want to. You kind of resent that. You know, I'm like, man, I don't want to have no curfew. I want to stay out like my homeboy. I want to stay out and do this and do that. You know, so you end up resenting it. And so when I was younger, we had all the different things. This is pre-internet now, so each year, you know, like my pops and my family would buy the Encyclopedia Britannicas, and we had a new set of encyclopedias, and we had like the first computers ever. We had the flight simulators and all these different things, man, that we would play with and do different things with. That's how we learned sign language, you know, the ABCs and stuff as far as sign language goes. But when ruling the house was that you couldn't just ask my dad a question. You know, I couldn't ask him, what's the capital of Montana? He'd be like, oh, go look it up. I'd be like, you know what, don't worry. He's like, no, you asked it, now we got to find out. Go find out what it is and come tell me. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to know that bad. You know, but he'll send you on that.
Right.
You know, make you go get it. Or you ask him, or how long does it take to get this way? Or how do you get to, say if I was going to, how did I get to Washington, D.C.? He'd be like, go get the atlas. Let's map it out. I'm like, dude, just tell me. He was like, go get the atlas and let's map it out. And so, like I said, I resented these things, man. And so, like I said, as you move through school and everything, and you start to notice some of the differences and stuff, that your life, what's in your life, is compared to some of your peers, you know, you take them for granted. But then I graduated, and I didn't really have a plan. You know, I'm looking around, and like I said, my mom, she's college educated. My dad, he played football at Northeast Mississippi Community College, and then he left there and went to Arkansas State. And I don't know what my mama said to him, but Pops left Arkansas State, came home and got married. Went to work, man. You know what I mean? So I don't know what she said. My mama got gang. She must have been real gang. Because he quit playing ball, came home and got married. You know, they started a family. And from then on, you know, that was kind of my example that I looked at, my pops, what he was doing. I'm like, so that's what I'm supposed to do. So when I graduated, I'm like, well, I'm just going to do like he did. You know, I'm going to go work in the factory or something like that, which back then, factory, you know, industrial, it was real big at that time, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm just going to work at a factory and have my family like my pop and be happy, you know? And so Mom and everybody was pushing college. I wasn't really thinking about college that much, but I was like, well, that's what they think I'm going to do. I'll probably do it because they want me to do it. And so I graduated, and the summer that I graduated, my dad sent me out to work at Gary Manufacturing, right up there on Harper Road, man. They used to do reprocessing for Walmart. Yeah. They would take turtlenecks out of one bag, put them in another one, and then seal it and send it to Walmart to sell. And I had to work that one summer, man, $7.15 an hour. My pops was like, after you work that job, Mom, I bet you're going to want to go to college. You're going to figure out that you need to go to college. And that my last day of working that summer, man, I couldn't wait to get to college. And so I left that summer, man, and I went to University of North Alabama. I enrolled, and I was like, I'm in college. This is where they want me to be. So I'm here because that's what everybody wants us to do. So as I'm in college, you know, first semester, I'm prepared. I'm going to do great, man. I'm not going to be a failure. I'm going to do right at this college. You know, and so I did a really good job my first semester, made good grades. Everybody was proud of me. You know, but that second semester, you know, I got a little comfortable in college. You know, I was like, yeah, so I'm here now. I'm established. So we're going to turn up a little bit. You know, we're going to party and we're going to have us a good time. And so I started partying. We started partying hard. Me and a couple of my friends. I had a couple classes I don't think I ever went to. I don't think I ever met those professors. And so that summer, you know, come back home, and, you know, I'm in college. I ain't thinking about no grades and no report cards. You know I didn't do well, but they don't know. You know, I'm in Alabama. They still here in Mississippi. Little do I know that North Alabama, they send your report card home as a freshman.
Oh, man.
So I come in one day from hooping, and I walk by my dad, and he like, let me get your car keys. So I throw him my car keys. I'm like, what is that about? So I walk in the house, my brother home now, and he laughed. I'm like, what's going on? He like, your grades came. I'm like, what you mean my grades? He like, they sent your grades. I was like, oh my God, no way. So I was like, what I do? He's like, you didn't do nothing. That's why he just took your keys. Your report card look like that. And I was like, man. So me being young and naive, you know, I got offended. I was like, man, I didn't want to go to college no way, man. I ain't trying to hear this. I went to college for them. Yeah. And so now my pops wasn't going to say much. He like to show up when my mama get home, act like he real mad. But he didn't have a lot to say. But when mama come on, he going to have an attitude. So when mama got home, he had a for real attitude. She walked. So I'm thinking, mom going to come in and go off. And so when she looked at my grades, she was like, well, I guess you can go on back out to the Gary and get your job back because we ain't paying for this. That ain't what we doing. If that's what you want to do, you go on out there. I'm not fooling with it. I'm not wasting a lot of energy on you. And I was like, but what you talking about? I went to college for y'all. We got this and we got that. They were like, no, son, I'm sorry. You confused. They said, me and your daddy got this. You got nothing. You a bum. You don't own nothing. You ain't making no money. Mm-hmm. This is the opportunity for you. You don't go to school for me or for your daddy. You go to school for your future. Right. So you better take ownership of your future because from now on, you're going to be living in the reality of your decision, your consequences. And so that was the first time that I really realized that I'm responsible for my future and that I'm not going to school for my parents. You know, and so they told me to go back out there and get that job at Gary Manufacturing that summer. So I got up and went out there to get that job, and I got up every day and got dressed to go to work every morning that summer. You know what I mean? Because that's what they told me to do, go back to work. Little did they know, I had signed up for some summer school classes at North Alabama. So I was getting up every morning going to work, but I was actually driving to Florence and taking a couple of classes. So I came back at the end of the summer, I got me 2 A's in the summer. And they looking at me like, where your money at? You just blowing through your money? But I show them my report card, and they're like, oh, so you been going. So I'm like, yeah, see, ain't you proud of me? Like, I got A's, you know. My daddy like, boy, ain't nobody proud. That just showing you what the actually don't. You know, my mom was like, well, I'm proud. You know, she got a soft heart.
Yeah.
But I am proud. If you gonna do this, I guess you can go back to school. I was like, that's great, Mom. I need y'all to pay that bill from the class that I just took, you know, because I just signed up. I didn't really have no money when I signed up. And so they were like, cool. So they paid for that, you know, and from then on, I understood that I need to take ownership in my education because it was for me and it wasn't for anybody else. But along with that came the realization that I had to decide what it is that I wanted to do in life.
Right.
And so when we get back to Seeds, when you get to that place in your life where you have to do a lot of reflecting,
Yeah.
and you start looking back and you ask yourself, what is it that I care about? What am I passionate about? What do I want to do? And I thought back to when I was in school. Of course, I had my father and I had my brother, but the only other minority, African-American male I had encountered in school was Coach Eric Powell. And Coach Eric Powell, he was our middle school football coach, and he coached us into high school, you know. And my class, the class that I was in, you know, you were the class ahead of me.
Right.
But it was some rough fellas in my class, man. I mean, some rough fellas in my class.
It was some rough fellas in Colorado.
It was period. It was a lot of rough fellas, man. But I remember being at the middle school, man. And at the middle school, like, man, I mean, we ran crazy in that building, man. Them jokers was fighting, doing everything else. And nobody could really ring a lot of those guys in. Couldn't make them do anything. Couldn't tell them anything. But Coach Powell was the only person on that campus that a lot of our friends feared, man. Like I said, because we were cut off for 6 periods a day, but come 7th period, we knew we had to see Coach Powell. Everybody got right. You know, and as a young black male, me looking at Coach Powell and seeing that effect that he had over those guys who nobody else could ring in, it made me say, man, I was blessed that I didn't have to rely on just Coach Powell because I had a father and a brother. But at the same time, I want to be able to do something like he's doing. I want to be able to have that effect on kids who don't have that. I want to be that resource for people. So as I reflected, I thought to myself, I want to go back and do exactly what Coach Powell did. Because when we went on to high school, we had a really good middle school football team. 7th and 8th grade, we were killing people. Got to the 9th grade, we had a junior varsity team, didn't lose a game, punishing everybody. But about halfway through our freshman year, something happened with Coach Powell. I don't know what took place at the district, but Coach Powell was no longer there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he wasn't there anymore. And it was almost like simultaneously, if you look back at it, when Coach Powell left at the end of that football season, beginning of that second semester, it's like all of our friends disappeared. All of my teammates left school at that time. And it's like, so when we went into spring football the next year, it's like everybody, well, not everybody, but the majority of a large majority of the people who I played middle school ball with, all those, even the JV ball, the same academic year, they weren't out for spring football. So to me, it was almost like when Coach Powell hit the door, they hit the door.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody went to get him. Nobody went chasing him around the streets and told him, you need to get back in school, even if it's just to play sports, until you mature enough to understand that there's more important things and the things you need to accomplish in life. It's like nobody went and got him. And so a lot of them were just out there floating around, and we started going to funerals, man, and we started hearing about guys going to prison, you know what I mean, for doing crazy things. And a lot of these guys were right there on the field with us, in the hallways with us.
Right.
And I think about it, I look back, I was like, what is the only thing that I can really attach to them just giving up and throwing their hands up? And it's when Coach Powell left. To me, it was when Coach Powell left, nobody was advocating, going after these kids, man. Because Coach Powell will show up anywhere. If you at John Street cutting up acting a fool, Coach Powell come on down, and you know he old country boy, he teach me, okay,
Right.
that blame it, come here, boy. And he talk crazy to you, and he big old man too, man.
Yeah.
So when he spoke, man, you listen, you know, and so me reflecting and realizing that when I'm in college, and a lot of my old peers not in college, not even doing productive things, you know, that was the seed that was planted to me when I thought back about Coach Powell, and I said, I want to go back and do the same thing he did. So when I was in Florence working in the YMCA doing different things, and I got a call that there's a possibility to come back home and be a PE teacher and coach in our hometown at the school that I had Coach Powell, man, I couldn't pass. I'm like, oh, I got to do it.
Got to.
I said, I got to go back and do that. Even if I only do it 5 or 10 years, I owe it to the community. I owe it to God, or who, you know, to the universe.
Yeah.
Because I was blessed it's my responsibility to be a blessing to other people, to plant those seeds with those kids the way that they were planted with me, which is why I came back and I got into sports in the first place.
Right.
And so, just speaking of seeds, I'm gonna pause right there. I'm gonna move on so we can go somewhere else. But I even got more to go with it.
But yeah, on that same, man,
Yeah.
James Dow was the same for me.
Yeah.
And Ricky Norman as well.
Yeah.
Man, me and Ricky both, like, dude, we was kind of rough at a time. You know?
That was our quarterback. That's my quarterback, baby.
Yeah.
Ricky, that's my quarterback.
T.O.?
But Mr. Dye had that same type of influence on us. You know what I mean? And that's, you know, we got right when he was around. You know, he was like that second line of disciplinary, you know, outside of our parents. You know, we didn't want to disappoint him, you know. So we tried to walk as straight as we could because we knew he might find out, you know. And it wasn't like he was going to do some great deal of punishment. We just respected him and didn't want to disappoint him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and man, that was big for me. Like, him and a couple of others, and we'll get to that, you know, here in a little bit. But man, I wanted to be that for other kids.
Absolutely.
You know, him being my martial arts instructor, I was like, man, the type of influence that he has on people, I want to influence people to do well like that. You know? I mean, I tried hard at everything because I knew he might be looking.
Yeah.
You know, and so I wanted to be that same for other kids. You know, and that's why, you know, I stuck with the martial arts. I had a little bit of a break, but I've been, you know, I've pretty much been a martial artist since I was 10 years old. You know, and he kind of gave me some kids to teach. I was teaching in some of the apartment complexes and stuff when I was like 15 years old, man. So I started learning how to teach real early, and I would just want to be that same impact on other people that he was on me.
Yeah, see, that's real big, man. And not only from that, I go back to just school in general. Like I said, you do a lot of reflecting, man, as you move through life. And it took me all the way back to the second grade where I had Miss Lawhorn. She was my teacher. You know, and I would cut up in class, boy, but it wasn't one of them you can cut up in class and just get away with it. Because she would call my mama and be like, he cutting up, I'm going to get him. And then my mom be like, and I'm going to get him when he get home. I'm like, hold on, I only did one thing. So how I'm going to get two whoopings, two discipline for it, you know what I mean? But that was just the reality of where I was at the time, you know, so that's something I had to deal with. And then I think about Miss Ernestine Hollins when we got to the 8th grade.
Miss Hollins.
You know, Miss Hollins, that was the first academic award I ever won, man, was who's who amongst middle school history students. You know, and I thought about turning in a paper to Miss Hollins, and one of the first ones I turned in, she looked at the paper, and she gave it back. She's like, I'm not taking this from you. I'm like, what you talking about? She said, you can do better than that. I ain't accepting nothing less than what you can do, your best effort. So you take that back and do it over. And I was like, man, that's messed up. You didn't take his paper back. I know my paper better than his. I know him. But she was like, you can do better and you will do better. And so I had to do it over. And from then on, she held me to a standard. And like I said, that's the only academic award I ever won, you know, prior to being in college, to be honest with you. And it's because her expectation for me was higher than maybe some other people. Even mine for myself. Not that it's anybody else's fault. But she saw it in me and she was like, you going to deliver what you're supposed to deliver. And so I got that. So that was really big as well. So
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
Man, just growing up and seeing, you know, people who look like you in a position like Miss Holland, Miss McCullough, Mr. Gardner, you know, Steve Hill. He was always hanging around the school. Coach Powell. And I also
we
had
go to the club, wherever.
Boys and Girls Club.
Corey Long, you know.
Sweet.
Volante, you know. All of them, man. I also had the honor of getting paddled by Coach Powell one time. Brought a tear to my eye. That was the last time I got a paddle.
Hey, hurt your feelings more than hurt your butt, didn't it?
No, it hurt me because it hurt you.
Dead blame it. What does that mean? What is a dead blame it, Coach? Man. He say it all the time, man.
It has to be keep from cussing, you know.
That's what he wanted to do, keep from cussing. So, yeah, he used it. So
blame it.
Yeah, man. Like you said, there's been a lot of people in the community that stepped up. Like you said, Steve Hill. A lot of people feel those boys sweet. My first basketball coach, Leroy Walker, man. I was playing in the club league. We had them little net jerseys over at the club, man. I don't think I got a bucket the whole year, man. I got a good exercise though, you know. I was too young to be playing that, you know, in that league anyway. But it was old club league. And I look at the people now, man. You look at what Red doing with the Chargers program. All them little kids, they walking around with their Chargers, them Chargers jerseys on.
It means something, man.
It does. And see, when we were kids, you know, Red, when it was my dad, Billy Dan, and Jim Bennett, a lot of those guys at the YMCA, you know, Red played for the Green Hornets, and me and Bobby Mays, Patrick Patterson, Kent, all those played for the Red Rebels. Then we had the Golden Eagles. They were sorry, the Golden. They didn't beat nobody. That's what our boy Flop, man, R.I.P. Flop played for the Golden Eagles. A couple other fellas, man. But that youth football that we had back then, that we still talk about as adults now, to see Red took that and brought it back. You know, he built on that, so that's huge, man. I really respect that.
Big props. Big
Yeah,
props.
the
to
Red Claw.
Hey.
Then you got Corn Games doing the
Oh, yeah.
basketball. Jarvis Pass, Bobby Mays and that bunch
Yeah.
working with the AAU
Allen.
and working at the school now. Alan Blackman.
Yep.
It's a bunch of them within their organizations that are doing big things, man. And just props to all those fellas, man. They're doing a lot of great things in the community. So planting seeds is what they're doing.
Yes,
And
sir.
the kids will remember that, down the line. So
Red's always been around, man. I remember in
Yeah.
junior high. Actually, from my junior high all the way up to me graduating, he was at every basketball game, home and away, man.
yeah,
He had that big Cadillac.
yeah, man.
Man, he used to be at every game, and then after the game, he'd be out there. I know in junior, I'd be out there dunking, man. We used to all get hyped, man.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Red and Miss Warren too. Another
Yeah,
legend,
Miss
man.
Warren. Oh, absolutely. She
Man.
was still teaching when I came and got an education, Miss Warren.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was cool. And I took piano lessons from my mom, Miss Lily Lowe.
Yeah.
You remember Miss Lowe? Y'all don't know Miss Lowe?
I don't.
Miss
do.
Lowe, man, she was Miss Warren's mother. She taught me piano. I was good too, man. Like I was working. She was teaching me good. So when they took them numbers off the page to teach you which finger to push,
Right.
I couldn't play. Man. I couldn't read a note, but I faked it for about a year and a half. But she caught me.
Oh,
When she
man.
caught me, man, she got at me though.
Man,
Yeah.
naming off all those people, man, we can't leave out Ace Walker, man.
No, not Ace.
Man,
No.
not Ace, dude. Like, dude, Ace was a big pillar in our community, man.
Absolutely.
Like down in the projects, man, Ace was the dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he was like the big boss in the projects,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you was doing wrong, you had to answer to Ace, man. Like
Yeah.
he knew everybody, and he knew if you was doing wrong, he was gonna come get you.
Yeah.
Cat.
Yeah,
You know, everybody
he gonna
cat.
I don't even know who that is, man.
You don't know Ace?
You don't know Ace,
I
man?
ain't grow up on that side of town. Sorry.
Yeah, that's
And
Taylor
then-
granddaddy, man. Erica
Who?
Walker. Erica Walker.
Oh,
son.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
okay.
Hey, so he used to come talk to us on Thursday before the football game.
Yeah.
Say, Walker, when you're quarterbacking, man, you got to make sure that you scan the field, make sure you see everything, okay? You want to make sure you're prepared. Like, all right, Mr. Ace, man, he be talking to me.
Right.
Hey, come get some tamales. Okay, I'll do that, man. Give me some tamales.
Man, he had his hand in everything
Mhm.
in the projects, man. Like he started flag football.
Oh, okay.
What else? Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
Man, he did so much, man, for the kids growing up down there, man. Like, man, we gotta give big props to him.
Oh, absolutely, man. And
Big
if you,
influence.
have you seen Taylor lately, man?
Uh-uh.
Man, Taylor is Ace. Look just like him.
For real.
You need to see him, man. Hey, it's so funny when I see him because I see Ace, man. That's
Hey, he
him.
better not
All
say cat
over
daddy.
it, you might say it, you never know, but
You
man, he
cats,
look just like him,
man.
Yeah, man, but there's been a lot of guys, like I said, planting the seeds, man. Red Clark, like I said, we played youth football together, It was 10 through 12 league. And so I was 9. My daddy always wanted to play me up like I was big. I wasn't big, but he wanted me to play up because he really liked coaching my brother. He didn't like coach. We were too little. So he would coach my brother, and so I had to play in the league with him. And Red was 11, 12, and I was 9 years old. And my daddy talking about, you got to go out there and hit Red and make sure. I'm like, me and who? Who gonna stop Red? I'm like, Red was the same size when he was 12 as he is now. Red was the same size.
He's a big dude, man.
I'm like, I'm not going to hit Red. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, we show up at the game, you helping me get my shoulder. Red driving to the game, man. I'm like, no, man, that ain't right. But he was the right age, with him and LP and
LP.
some of them guys out there, man. But youth football was shit. YMCA did away with tackle football after that year.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think they ever had it again after that. It was.
They did away
it
with
was
flag
rough.
football too.
Yeah, what would we got? We were the Storm.
I can't remember what we were called. But
We had a
ran
flag
through that
football
league
team. In our 20s, we were coming back,
Yeah.
coming from Alabama playing flag football over there.
every weekend.
And we came. We didn't have no coaching. We didn't have no sportsmanship. Cause we wasn't even ready to play until we got into it with each other.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were gonna be arguing with our team to where it had to be broke up before halftime. So if you didn't get up by enough before halftime, you was in trouble. We were the Storm, cause we would come storming back. Yeah. We didn't lose the game, man, but it was fun times.
It was.
man.
It was.
Here y'all talk about football, man. It just wasn't for me, man.
Yeah.
I tried it 1 year. 7th grade football, that was enough. I finished the year,
Uh-huh.
but after that year, it was over with. I was this little short, pudgy kid, man. I wasn't fast enough to run the ball, and I sure wasn't big enough to be on the line, but that's where
Yeah.
they put me.
Yeah.
Every play. Smash.
Yeah.
Smash. Concussion. I didn't know what team I was playing on half the time.
Yeah.
I remember one practice, man, I was arguing and going on, fussing about, having to keep getting hit over and over. It's like, man, I need to run the ball or something. Like, give me something else.
Yeah.
They made a fool out of me. I go out there, that cone, hit left and wait on the ball. Went out there, hit that left, caught the ball
Who did
to
it to you?
Boris Graham.
Beef.
right,
He
man.
did it to you.
R.I.P. to Beef, man.
Yeah.
Man, he came through there hard. Man, he hit me. I got up after I slid about 7, 8 feet. Pads hanging out my jersey.
Yeah.
Disappointed. Like, this just ain't mine.
Yeah.
This ain't for me.
That was just
I don't want no more of this.
It was just a bad seed. Bad seed, baby.
I want
It's bad in fruit.
I don't want no more.
Yeah.
Every
I don't want no
season
more.
germinate, man.
I finished that year, man. I was done with football. It was over with.
Hey man, it's all about finding your lane, man. What works for you, you know what I mean? So, like I said, we played the football and we loved it. You know what I mean? And the good thing that I like about sports, especially in school, you know, everybody in school going to the NFL or the NBA or somewhere.
Right.
Now they can't beat their overweight 40-year-old PE coach, but they gonna beat LeBron James.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't tell them any different, you know, because a lot of times they need to have that dream to chase until they understand the importance of the education.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you may be a junior. By the time you realize that you were a senior and you really didn't even get to play in JV games and you have to share a varsity jersey every other game, you may realize you're probably not going to the NBA. But look how close you are to graduating. How about we finish that? So you finish that, and now we got you to the finish line. Now let's explore what your interests are, and let's plant some more seeds.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Because it's important to do that. And one of the things in education, we talk about relevancy all the time. And basically what that is you find out what's important to the kids. You know, what do they care about? What are their interests? And you use those interests to start planting seeds, to kind of get them excited about their future and what they want to do, and also to create that ownership within them and their future. So planting seeds is a really important thing, whether it's in the educational field, the athletic field, the community, wherever it may be. It's important that we plant seeds and that we sow seeds.
Yes, sir.
So
Yeah. Man, when you plant the seeds, though, you just can't plant them and walk off, right?
Yeah.
You got to water it, right?
Yep.
You got to make sure it gets proper sunlight. You got to defoliate. You got to top dress, right? But once you do all that stuff, it's, you know, if you get through all that, it's just, you know, you coast it. But every seed you plant is not going to germinate, meaning it's not going to be for you. But, you know, you still have to go through all the steps, all the progressions to make sure you give a good effort. And you know, a seed that you planted, or even a seed that you plant for somebody else, you still, if you tell somebody something, you got to be about it. You can't just say, hey,
sir.
go do this. No, hey, let's go do this. Or hey,
Model it. You got
watch
to
me
model.
go do this.
Mhm.
You know, a model, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we've all had models that we talked about. Again, mom and dad, first model. That's what I had to look at. And then outside of that, you know, people who look like me and people who didn't look like me. You know, but
Absolutely, yeah. You have those people as well.
yeah. So, but it's just to give a good effort though, just in life in general. Give a good effort, man. Even it's gonna be days where you don't want to give a good effort. You
Yes,
still
sir.
give a good effort. You know, just one foot in front of the other. You know, be cordial. You know, that's something that I do now. Oh, actually, I've been doing for a while now. It's just being cordial. Because a lot of people I just don't like, man. I'm gonna be honest with y'all.
Hey, we're here being real. We're being real.
You know, but I know that if I'm cordial, you know, they can't say, oh, he's a bad guy. Oh, I don't like him. It's just like, well, you know, he was respectful.
Yeah.
He didn't have an attitude with me. He helped me. Well, I guess he's okay.
Yeah.
That's all I want. I don't care if you like me. I don't care.
Right.
I'm gonna be cordial. You
See,
know.
that's another show too, man, that we can talk about. You know, you don't have to like everybody
No.
to respect them or to even accomplish a goal with that person. You know
Exactly.
what I
Or
mean? You don't have
learn
to be
something from
friends.
that person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
So
There you go.
we'll touch on that a little later on down the line. Though
Yeah.
like I said in another show, we will talk about that. And but something that you said that was really important, and like I said, it's a great metaphor when we talk about seeds in education. You know, along with coaching, you talk about every seed doesn't germinate, right?
Right.
So it's not always going to bear fruit or whatever it may be.
Right.
And one of the toughest things I had to realize, especially with coaching, is that you can put a lot of time in, a lot of effort in working with some people.
Yep.
And the reality is that everything is not going to get home.
You're right.
You're not going to be successful every time, man. You're going to lose something that you really, really pour into, and it's going to rip your gut out. And you're going to have to do a gut check and realize and ask yourself, is this really what I want to do? Can I stomach this?
Right.
Because in education, you have to you learn all about intrinsic rewards. Because Lord, they don't pay teachers enough. They ain't giving you enough money, and they ain't giving you enough money to get all this luxurious stuff to make yourself happy. So you have to be able to find the victory in helping somebody else and pouring into somebody else. But like I said, when you lose somebody, or when it doesn't hit home, or when a kid doesn't take to it, or an individual doesn't take to it, it's going to make you question, do I really need to be here? Should I be somewhere else? But what you have to do is you can't let that one seed that didn't sprout, that didn't germinate the way that you wanted it to, you can't let it affect and take you away from what you could potentially do for other people.
Right.
Like I said, because nothing is 100%. You know what I mean? Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, they didn't make every shot that they took. You know what I mean? But they didn't stop shooting
That's right.
because they missed some.
That's
You
right.
know, and just like dealing with people, just because your message doesn't always land and resonate with somebody, and you lose somebody that you really put the time in with, what you eventually find out is somebody you wasn't even talking to was listening to all of it.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
sir.
you didn't see that, you didn't see it blossom here with this person, but somebody over here was ear
Caught
hustling,
it.
and they was getting all that information, and they took it and they mastered it. So you have to be, you never know who's really paying attention to your action, especially when you're modeling, because people can see you and see that model, they can hear what you're talking about. That's why I always say when I was coaching, if I'm talking to one of your teammates about something, you need to listen because it applies to you too.
Mm-hmm.
The same in life. Just because somebody may not be talking to you, you may be able to steal some of that information and apply it to your life. You know what I mean? You stole a seed and planted it, and who knows, it can blossom if you give yourself that opportunity. But you can't let the ones that don't blossom make you stop trying and stop working for it. It's really important to keep pushing forward.
Man, just thinking about one that did blossom that just made me kick it into another gear, man. We have, me and Perry, we have one student, and I ain't gonna call his name because of some of the things I'm about to say. I'm not sure if he's okay with it. But I can remember, man, this young kid coming to me, and you know, you could tell he was an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
He was athletic, and we knew right off the bat that he was gonna be okay, you know. But his life before he connected with us, man,
Mm-hmm.
was a rough one. Had his mom sit in my chair with me one time. She was getting a tattoo, and she just started crying.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "What's wrong?" She said, "I don't know what it is you doing down there. I don't know what y'all doing, but keep doing it." And I was like, She was like, "My son." She was like, "Before y'all," she was like, "I was picking him up from jail. He was getting dropped off on the porch step, bloody." She was like, "I was paying hospital bills because he was getting drunk on the weekends, going out fighting. He was beating people up. They was beating him up." And she said, I was just going into debt, paying doctor's bills for him and other people, and people trying to, sue us and all kind of stuff because of the trouble that he was getting in." She said, "But since he's been connected with y'all, he's a totally different kid." And we watched this guy, man, like grow from this punk kid
Mm-hmm.
to proposing to his wife
In the cage.
Yeah.
in a cage one night, bro.
Yeah, that's why. Hey, that's beautiful.
We watched him grow into a man.
Yep.
He started a family. He bought a house. He followed the path to the fire department and started doing that.
Mhm.
And like he is this super mature guy that you would never think had the background
Definitely.
Yeah.
that his mom was telling me about. And man, that right there, that touched me, man.
Mhm.
And it's making me emotional now.
Yeah.
Because to see that and to see that you can have that type of impact on somebody,
Yeah.
why not continue?
Right. Right.
Why not keep putting forth that effort?
Mm-hmm.
Because we probably saved his life, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
He was spiraling out of control.
Yeah.
And there's others that we watched on this spiral and out of control. But if we can get them,
I was one.
Yeah, you were wild. You were wild. I remember you when you started that. Yeah.
if we can get them just for a small period of time, man, we have so many good people in our program. It's like you see people doing well and you want to do well. And that's why we try. That's why I'm always tugging on people. That's why I was tugging on him. That's why I tug on everybody.
Yeah.
Because in that environment, man, with people vibrating at such a high frequency and everybody feeling good about life and wanting to do good in life, you'll want it for yourself. It's just like, it's contagious, man. You know,
Yeah.
when you put people in that type of environment where everybody else is, reaching for success, it makes
Absolutely,
you want to do the
yes.
same thing.
Positive peer pressure. We're gonna get to that too. That's gonna be a show. We really gonna talk about positive peer pressure, but absolutely what you're saying. Go continue, brother.
Oh man, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. But see, that's what we talk about, those intrinsic rewards. And see, ain't nobody give you no trophy for that.
No.
Ain't nobody write no article about it.
No.
Ain't nobody post you on the internet and
Don't
do all
need it.
this, man. But you know that you walking in purpose.
Yes,
And you don't need nobody to acknowledge you or to affirm you when you're doing it. You know you're moving in the right space when you become a blessing to other people, man.
Yes, sir.
And sometimes it's just creating the environment, the opportunity for them to fix themselves.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they got to make the choice to keep coming back and doing this too. Right. But when you're there and you allow yourself to be that resource for that person, and you provide that example for them, and that consistent reminder of what you can and what you need to be doing, absolutely, you win. That's an intrinsic reward that we
Yes,
were
sir.
talking about.
Yes,
So,
sir.
and you won, so he won. His whole family won that
Yeah.
you talked about.
Yeah.
Because he was willing to do that. So
Yep.
Man, it made me think about Les Brown when he said, "I want to loan you some belief until you can believe in yourself."
Yeah, see.
You know, and that's what I've done with so many of these people, man. Like I keep encouraging them, you know, because some of them they don't feel like they can do great things.
Yeah.
Man. You know, I was one of those people. I didn't feel like I could do nothing above average.
Yeah.
But man, work ethic is everything. You know, and like you was talking about, you know, taking the shots. You take enough shots, man, you'll start hitting some.
Yeah.
You know, and that was one that we hit together. Like we made a positive impact on that guy and loaned him some belief.
Yeah.
Until he could believe in himself.
Absolutely. That's big. T-shirt. I like that. Merch. I like that.
Merch.
That sounds good, man. Yeah, man. And it's great to know where your resources are, because I've had people that I've encountered, you know, to contact me because they know I worked in the school and that I've coached and did things like this, and they've been having problems with their kid and said to their kid that he didn't love to fight. I said, oh, really? I know a place where he can go and he can get a fight and do it all night if he wants to.
Not get in trouble.
And not get in trouble.
Come on down. And then I tell them about your program, you know what I mean? Because sometimes it's about helping them find their lane.
Yeah.
You know, and coming through school, you know, me playing sports and coaching and all these other things, what you find is there's a whole nother segment of the student population who don't care anything about no ball, man.
Right.
Especially now you look at these kids that's into computers and everything else, man, STEM and all these different things. Dub had me out playing disc golf. Fell in love with it, man. Sometimes I would like to go to disc golf matches, man, just because the guys we were playing with, I'd like to hear them talk, man. Because they're talking about the graphics and stuff in the movies and all this other stuff. And I'm like, man, like these dudes have really dissected it. And I'm like, this is a whole nother lane of interest that kids have, that people have, you know what I mean? That you look over or you term it or you coin it nerdy or whatever, man. But it's huge. You know what I mean? So we also have kids that are interested in these things, and other individuals. We need to encourage them as well, man.
Yes, sir.
Look,
Yes, sir.
expound on that, you know, build on that, bring that out. Got a few little kids that I see at school, man. You can tell they fall in that mode. I'm like nerd life forever, baby. You know, and they're like, yeah, nerd life. I'm like, yeah, it's
Make
cool,
it cool.
man.
Make it
It's cool
cool.
to be a nerd, you know. But I tell them all the time, man, they pick with you and call you a nerd. I said, every famous person you know work for a nerd or make a nerd some money.
Yeah.
I said, every one of them. I said, man, don't be ashamed if you have interests outside of what we're supposed to care about and be interested in, because nobody can define your lane for you. You have to find that lane, because you got to live this life.
Yes.
Make sure it's where you truly want to be, and know that you got a fan in me. I'm gonna be cheering for you. Like I said, to find your happiness and your success in the lane that you choose.
Yes, sir.
Plant that seed in those. Find those kids with those awkward, as we call them, interests and hobbies, and pour into them. You know, my generation, they talk, y'all sit on video games all day. Yeah, they might. And I do like to see kids go outside and play, and I still think they need to, for health reasons and other things, but that is a great possibility for a career for a lot of these kids, these video games and stuff that they're playing. So before you dismiss it and discourage, you may have to help them put it in the proper place and prioritize it, you know, so they don't slack on other things that they have to do. But don't discourage them from doing something that they're really interested in, because that may be their path. So you have to be really careful there of what seeds that you do plant. You don't want to stir them away from something that may be their true passion, their true calling. So we have to be mindful of that.
Yeah, nerd life, man.
Nerd life, man,
And
forever.
just your favorite athlete, favorite musician, favorite whatever, they're nerds.
Yep.
If they're getting
They
paid to
are
do
nerds.
something that's shooting the basketball, throwing the football, whatever, if they're so good at that they are a nerd.
Steph Curry is a basketball nerd.
All they do is do one thing, and what do nerds do? All they do is they study, they play video games, they do computer, whatever, they run, whatever. They're nerds. So be a nerd, be successful. Not saying, you know, you ain't gonna be successful if you're not a nerd, but like Mom said, nerd life.
We have to take that term and we have to own it and change the meaning of that term. If you want to be good at something, you must become a nerd at that something. You must, because you have to research it, you have to study it, you have to practice it in order to master it.
Yes, sir.
You must become a nerd, whatever it may be, and that's what's real.
Man, just talking about nerds and what me and Perry do, jujitsu. Man, some of these guys, man, you look at
y'all some nerds. Y'all walk around on YouTube.
Man.
Yeah.
But you look at some of the top athletes of today, man. Most of these dudes ain't got athletic physiques or none of that. You can't size people up no more, man. A lot of these dudes like real thin frame, wearing glasses. I mean, it look like the kid pushing the grocery cart at the supermarket.
Yeah.
But don't grab him.
Don't do it.
Don't grab him.
Don't do it. You gotta feel them at the gym now.
Man, you would never
Man.
think,
Yeah.
you know, that they have the skill sets that they have. You know?
Right. I see a couple guys. You know, we got this one coming friend. I ain't gonna call his name. Y'all might meet him if we come up with an uncut raw show. We gotta get one of those beepers for language before we go in on. But we got this one friend now, boy. He almost a bully, and I've seen him look at people like he want to start stuff, and I'm like, I know I saw that dude up there at the gym with Perry and Jonathan. I'm like, you might need to leave that dude alone, man, because that boy knows something. So you can never tell now. He walk around. You know what I mean? Like you said, slim and don't look like he athletic, man. Some of these dudes will tie you in a knot, man. So now you don't know who you dealing with out here, man. These dudes doing jujitsu, they learning all this other stuff. I feel like we need to talk about whatever it is that we got a problem about. Ain't no need to fight. We don't know. We don't need to fight. We need to sit down and have a I don't know what you know. You done beat me up out here, man, and tie me in a knot. That's why you don't have no business fighting anyway. You
Right,
fighting.
man.
Right.
You can't size people up, no.
We have to have real conflict resolution. You can't go out here and just start fighting anybody, man.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah. There's some guys out here that don't look the part, but will do you something terrible.
Lead and roll.
Yeah. Hey, same thing in sports. Like basketball, the little dude walking the gym. Ah, man, I got that dude, man. He don't look like he can play. Man, burn you up out there. Have your girlfriend talking about you, she don't know how you play, man. You got to be careful judging a book by its cover. So.
You can't do it.
It was a guy like that came in the boys club one time, man. He was a coach somewhere, man.
Yeah.
He had his shirt tucked in, glasses. He may have had a shag or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
He had curly hair. And I'm looking like, man, who is it? We was on the same team. Who's this guy?
Baller. Get in.
Baller. I was like, okay, let's get it. Let's get it.
Let's go.
We used to hoop, man. We had these open runs up at the school, man. And you know what our open runs are like,
Yeah.
man. You know, neighborhood guys, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
And there was this kid who walked in the gym, man. You know, I'm coaching, so I've coached against him.
Mm-hmm.
But he walked in, man, white kid, man, clean cut, walked straight up, perfect posture. Everybody like, who is this dude, man? And I'm like, this dude is a bucket. That's what he get bucket.
Don't tell
But
me.
nobody want to pick him.
I'm telling it's like Wally, is it him?
John Wiley Works.
Ooh, a baller.
Picked him up. Boy, we out there running Karl Malone and John Stockton, pick and roll, pick him. Man, John Wiley out there burning them. I said, so you judge the book by its cover. You thought, here come this white kid in here with all these black dudes. He can't, man, that dude, if we play now, I'll pick him up. Secret Weapon. You were on my team.
Yeah.
Secret Weapon, man. Hey,
was a
worked it
baller,
out.
man.
Coach Whitson, another one.
Yep.
Secret Weapon.
Yep.
You never believe it, but get him on your team, brother. And gonna be some problems. So don't judge the book by its cover. Yeah, don't believe in stereotypes. Hey, you will be unpleasantly surprised sometimes. You better be careful. So, yeah. But fellas, I feel like this has been a pretty good conversation, man.
Yes,
I think it's
sir.
something that you can pull something from, man. Anybody got anything else?
Nah, I
Talk
don't.
about it? I don't want
Just,
to shut it
you know,
down if you want to keep going.
You
I ain't
plant
got
the
nowhere to
seeds.
be.
Do your work when you plant the seeds, though. You know, you just don't plant it and walk off. You know, do everything else.
Exactly. And like, if I had to say anything as a parting shot, you know what I mean? Think about the seeds that have been planted for you. You think about the expertise that you have, the experience that you have, the knowledge that you have, and figure out a way to turn some of those experiences and that knowledge into seeds for other people who make a benefit from your path and your information and what you have. Okay, and don't be afraid to go out there and plant seeds. So what you find out is once you plant seed in somebody else, and they begin to grow, it also grows you. It feeds you. It fuels you to do even more and more. And as you plant more seeds and they begin to blossom, and these people begin to plant seeds, before you know it, we have a society of motivated people who looking to help other people and to inspire other people. So I encourage everybody to continue.
Society of farmers. That's what we need. Farmers.
Yeah.
We need more farmers.
There you go. We need
Cultivators.
farmers. Absolutely. There you
Yes,
go.
sir.
Joe.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Any parting shots, Jay Bird?
Nah, man, I'm good.
All right. So as they say at the church house, if all hearts and minds are satisfied, we're gonna end this session today. This podcast of the Free Thinkers. We didn't even mention we the Free Thinkers.
Oh, yeah.
The Free Thinkers podcast. Did you say it?
I think I may have mentioned it in the beginning.
did.
Yeah.
There you go. Free Thinkers podcast. Like I said, we appreciate you tuning in for this episode, and we look to see you in the future. Okay. Look out for the merch.
Merch.
So we're gonna get some merch out there. Okay.
We're designing that right now.
Yeah, so we get the merch out. Like I said, look out for that. Click, like, share, whatever platform that you're on. You know, share it with somebody who may benefit from it. Share it with somebody who may not. Share it with somebody who may love it, somebody who may hate it. Who cares? We just want this energy out there. We're all about putting positive energy into the world, inspiring somebody else, lighting somebody else's fire, maybe planting a seed with somebody so they can go do something great themselves. So once again, thank you for joining us tonight. Y'all have a good one.
Go Louisville.